yogis, welcome to Life Like Lotus where we rise from the mud. Today we're going to do a little bit of shoulder work, so grab a mat and I'll meet you there. Alright guys, to begin in Tadasana, we're going to inhale our hands up above our head, really pulling our rib cage out of our pelvis here. Slight bend in your knees, coming into a forward fold. Maybe even finding some movement in each leg by itself. Exhale, folding a little deeper. Inhale, let your body rise slightly. Push your palms into your shins for half lift. Exhale, fold. Maybe find a little movement in your neck. And then come into down dog. You want to rotate your hands out just a little bit here. Pedaling out that dog. I'm prioritizing length in the spine here, so bend your knees as much as you need. Then roll forward to plank, drop your knees for a few cat-cows. Curl your toes under, drop that belly, send your chest forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, drop your belly. Just warming up our spine here. And do a few of those on your own. And take your knees as wide as your mat. And let your forehead fall down to your mat for a child's pose. You can extend your arms out in front of you as far as they'll go. Really feeling it in that upper back and in your shoulders. Taking some deep breaths, sending your breath to the area that you feel pulling. And then on your next inhale, reach over to the left side of your mat. A little juicy side stretch here. Remember, there's no wrong way to do this. Just do what feels good. You can shift over to the other side, maybe even placing hand on top of hand, keeping your hips centered. Bring back to tabletop. Come up on your toes here, clasp your hands behind you, almost as if you wanted your shoulder blades to touch behind you. Then find a little movement, a half moon neck roll. Bringing your left ear to your left shoulder, right ear to your right shoulder. Come up on your knees and send your clasped hands to your left hip. And then take your left ear to your left shoulder. And if this is not doable for your body, that is totally fine. You can keep clasped hands behind your back. And then switch sides. Taking your right ear to your right shoulder and your clasped hands to your right hip. Bringing them down towards your tailbone. Roll your shoulder blades down and back. And make your way back to tabletop for a few cat-cows. Really feel the difference from your first set to now. Finding a little movement. Exhale, round. Inhale, drop your belly, send your chest forward. We're going to take our right hand high to the sky And bring your right arm underneath your left for thread the needle. Can push into that left hand, open up your shoulders. Just rest your head on your mat. Try to keep your hips square here. One of my favorite shoulder moves. Come back to center for the other side. Left hand high to the sky. Down through behind your right hand. And come up on spidey fingers and really push into that right hand to find some space and open up that chest. And then back to center. Take your knees as wide as your mat. We're going to come into a little puppy pose. So reach your hands out in front of you. Extend, keeping your hips aligned over your shoulders. And then a little forearm down dog. Really push into your elbows here. Come up on your toes, pedal out your legs, do what feels good here, kind of a little yogi's choice. And I'll meet you back down in child's pose. Walk your fingers out as far as you can in front of you. Working with a little traction here. On every exhale, root down your seat bones. Every inhale can reach out further in front of you. And give them a little rest and create a little diamond shape with your thumb and your index finger in front of your head. It'll help relax your shoulders. Rising up to our knees, pulling our rib cage out of our pelvis, really stretching. And bring your hands back to grab your heels for a resting child's pose. You can float your hands out in front of you. Reach, 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 finding that space. And coming into a few more cat-cows. Shaking it out. Really finding that deep arch. Curl toes under and come to a standing forward fold. Exhale, clasp your elbows and just hang here. Really tuck your chin in and try to look at your navel. You should feel a nice stretch in that neck and upper back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Carefully coming to stand, bend your knees. Rise up. We're going to inhale our hands up. Clasp your left wrist and come into a side bend. You can pull your wrist over to your right. And then back to center, reaching up high to the sky, grabbing your other wrist. Maybe even look up to the sky, really making sure you're not hunched over forward here. Now we're going to heel toe our feet out wide. Come into a wide-legged forward fold. Just let gravity do its job here. Let your head hang. Inhale, push yourself up to a flat back, and then exhale, fold. Maybe shaking your head, yes and no, loosening up that neck. can heel toe your feet back together and carefully come to a seated position. We're going to bring our hands out in front of us like we're holding a tray, and then pulling our hands out to each side of the room like you almost wanted your thumbs to touch behind you. Take a deep inhale and breathe into those shoulders. Exhale, bring your tray in front of you. We're going to cross our arms for eagle arms and lift our elbows. That juicy shoulder work. Bring it down to center. Pull that tray out in front of you again. Open your arms wide. Try to touch those thumbs. Now we're going to do eagle arms with the other arm below. Then lift those elbows. One last tray in front of you and arms out. Great. Awesome, guys. Now just take your hands behind you, wherever that may be for you. You can place them on top of each other. Roll your shoulder blades down and back. Open that chest. Just sit here for a moment. Then extending your arms, switching whichever arm was on top. Really being conscious about rolling those shoulders down and back, lifting from the chest, sucking in that core. Good. Inhale, hands up. Clasp your hands. Make a little steeple. Pull those shoulder blades out of your ribs, ribs out of pelvis. Beautiful, guys. You should be feeling much better here. You can come to sit on your heels and do a little neck roll. Really notice the difference in your body from the first set of neck rolls we did. We're going to come to our knees. Send your chest forward past your elbows here and come down onto your belly for a few little cobras. Push up on your forearms, open your chest, keep that chin tucked a little, protect that low back. And exhale, come down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, down. And come back into a child's resting pose. Make that little diamond shape with your finger and your thumb in front of you. Just take some deep inhales through your nose and exhales through your mouth. Come into tabletop, curl your toes, send your seat high to the sky for down dog. Pedal it out. Then slowly walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat for the last forward fold here. Inhale, bend your knees, rise up to a standing. Now we're going to cross our hands in front of us and give ourselves a big hug here while we do a few little neck rolls. Switching whatever arm you had on top, give yourself one last big squeeze. Now we're going to release all the last little bit of tension we have here. Inhale, bring your shoulders up to your ears, tighten. Exhale, drop them. Do that a few times. Great, guys. Now shake it out. Really feel